Angles. Your learning target today is I can reason with shapes and their attributes, and you'll know you're successful when you can classify angles and polygons. I hope that you enjoyed that angle song that you should have listened to before this video. So you should have learned about 3 different types of angles, and that song is a great way to remember all 3 of them. So one that you will see quite often is, of course, the right angle, which looks like an L, right? If I look at the door to our classroom, or a door at your house, or maybe even a window, you might notice that the corners like this are 90 degrees, where it looks like an L. And so that is a right angle. We also have less than 90 degrees, which was what? Acute, right? Acute. And a way that I like to remember that little angle that's less than 90 degrees is that cute things are usually small, right? So acute is that small. Oh, it's so cute, right? That's my way to remember. Acute is small and it's less than 90 degrees. So just a reminder that 90-degree angle is right. Less than 90 degrees is acute. And then of course we have greater than 90 degrees, which is what? Obtuse. And a good way to remember from that song was obtuse has a big caboose, right? That's a good way to remember that this is greater than 90 degrees. So when we are looking at polygons, we will be seeing all types of angles when we are looking at our polygons. And we are going to be paying attention to those angles and what makes the polygon a polygon. So let's take a look at a couple of polygons and determine what kind of angles that you might see. Alright, so right here I have a 3-sided shape, which is what type of polygon? A triangle. Because remember that root word tri means 3. So there we go, we have 3 sides and of course 3 angles. But what type of angles do we have? Well, I see a lot going on right here because this is actually considered a right triangle. Why, do you ask? Because this has a right angle. Not all triangles have right angles. So that's why this one's actually called a right triangle, because of that one right angle. And of course that's the only one, because of course we know that this is 90 degrees and it looks like an L, right? I see an L, and that's always my hint of 90 degrees. What other kinds of angles do I have right here? Remember, I have right angles, which are 90 degrees. We have acute, which are smaller. So anything smaller than this 90-degree angle right here, the right angle, or anything that's bigger than that L or that right angle. So right away, I'm noticing this angle right here, how if it was a right angle, it would be quite a bit bigger. That blue line would be there. And that's not there. We have an acute angle right here. So we have acute, we have right, and then for that last angle right here, what do you think that would be? That's also an acute angle because, again, it is smaller than that right angle that we have below. So we have 2 acute angles and 1 right angle. Let's look at some more. So this time I have 2 polygons, and we're going to look at the one on the left, so the 5-sided polygon. So can anybody remember what that is called when it has 5 sides and 5 angles? Pentagon. Because remember, pent means 5. That's the root word for 5. So 5 angles and 5 sides. With this type of pentagon, this particular pentagon is called a regular pentagon, and then tomorrow we will be learning a little bit more about regular polygons. And what I mean by regular is that these have the same lengths of sides. So the sides are all the same length, and the angles are actually all the same in this regular pentagon. They're exactly the same. So if I can just take a look at one type of angle, I'll know that it's they're all the same. So I'm going to look at the one that's the easiest for me to tell. And it looks like it's a little bit bigger than an L, right? The L is a perfect L shape, which would be a right angle. So that's a little bit bigger. So what type of angle is that? It's an obtuse angle. So in this regular pentagon, I know that, oh, then this must be obtuse. And then the other side's obtuse. And the other side is obtuse. And then, of course, the top is obtuse. They are all obtuse angles. Another thing about a regular polygon or a regular pentagon in this case is it has a line of symmetry. If I have cut this in half, it'll be exactly the same on one side as it is on the second side or the other side. So let's take a look at the next shape. This time I'm going to want you to look at the shape on the right. And it looks kind of weird. It's not a regular polygon because I can tell right away that the sides are not all the same length. And we do not have the same angles going on. I see a lot of different things. And of course, if I were to cut this shape in half, it doesn't look exactly the same. Maybe a little bit close, but they're not exactly equal on both sides. So I want you to take a look at this polygon. I want you to tell me what kind of polygon this is and the angles that you see. And then when you are done with that, I want you to resume the video and check your work. All right, so by now you should have determined what type of polygon this is. So a big hint of how to figure that out is how many angles did it have and how many sides did it have? Should have the same amount. So let's look at our angles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles. So that must mean it has 6 sides. Let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, we have 6 sides. I'm going to erase that just because that's going to be really hard for me to tell what types of angles I have. So let's see. We have 6 of each. So that means this is a hexagon. And remember, 6, if I wrote out the word 6, has an X, and so does hexagon. So that's my little hint for remembering that name of that polygon. Okay, so I see in this shape an acute angle because that is less than 90 degrees, right? And then this angle right here is, of course, bigger than that. So that's obtuse because that's larger than 90 degrees. And anything that's larger than 90 degrees or that L shape is obtuse. And if it's smaller than the L shape, it's acute. Okay, and then right here, I could easily tell that was acute. And then right here, we have, it looks like an L shape. So this looks like a right angle to me. And then this one's really tricky. I am noticing it looks a lot like an L, but it looks just a tiny bit smaller. If it was a perfect L, it would be like that, right? Like the one on the right. And this one looks just a tiny bit smaller. So what would I call that? I would say that's acute. And then right here, we have an acute angle. So I see a lot of acute angles, 3 of them. Actually, 4 of them, excuse me. 4 acute angles, 1 obtuse angle, and 1 right angle. Remember, your learning target today is I can reason with shapes and their attributes, and you'll know you're successful when you can classify angles and polygons.